All right, here's some audio for Chapter 3, Business Organizations. Starting on page 60. Why it matters. You have an idea for a new product and you want to set up a company to market it. You need $5,000 to get started with production and advertising. Use what you have already learned about the factors of production to create a list of resources you will need and where to find them. Read Chapter 3 to learn about the different ways to organize a business. The big ideas. 1. The profit motive acts as an incentive for people to produce and sell goods and services. 2. Governments and institutions help participants in a market economy accomplish their financial goals. Section 1. Forms of Business Organization, page 61. Companies in the news. Selling to a different beat. Mark Weinstein's Amoeba music store stocks 2.5 million titles, half of which are rare and used vinyl records, with genres ranging from jazz and hip-hop to Hungarian folk music and Pakistani qawwali. Amoeba is Weinstein's alternative to music megastores. Amoeba's 1990 launch in Berkeley, California was risky. Still, Weinstein and his two partners staked $325,000 in loans and savings on their vision. The risk yielded sales of $10,000 on opening day. Today, the business has stores in Los Angeles and San Francisco. And while most of the industry faces declining sales, Amoeba's sales continue to rise. For Weinstein and Company, the vision is evolving. Soon, Amoeba will have its own record label and launch a website for music downloads. This is adapted from Businessweek. There are three main forms of business organization in the economy today: the sole proprietorship, the partnership, and the corporation. Each offers its owners significant advantages and disadvantages. The type of business an entrepreneur decides can have real consequences. If Mark Weinstein and his co-founders had organized as a corporation instead of a partnership, then the corporation would have to please its stockholders. Instead, the business was organized as a partnership, which allows the partners to set their own criteria for success. Sole proprietorships. Page 62. Main idea. Sole proprietorships are easy to start, but owners have unlimited liability. Economics in you. Have you ever dreamed of starting your own business? Read on to learn what it takes to own a business. The most common form of business organization in the United States is the sole proprietorship or proprietorship, a business owned and run by a single individual. Because proprietorships are basically one-person operations, they comprise the smallest form of business and have the smallest fraction of total sales. As figure 3.1 shows, they are also relatively profitable as they bring in about 1/5 of the total profits earned by all businesses. Forming a proprietorship. The proprietorship is the easiest form of business to start because it involves almost no requirements except for occasional business licenses and fees. Most proprietorships are ready for business as soon as they set up operations. You could start a proprietorship simply by putting up a lemonade stand in your front yard. Someone else could decide to mow lawns or open a restaurant. A proprietorship can be run on the internet, out of a garage, or from an office in a professional building. Advantages. As you have learned, a sole proprietorship is easy to start up. If someone has an idea or an opportunity to make a profit, he or she only has to decide to go into business and then do it. Management is also relatively simple. Decisions do not require the approval of a co-owner, boss, or other higher up. This flexibility means that the proprietor can make an immediate decision if a problem comes up. A third advantage is that the owner can keep the profits of successful management without having to share them with other owners. The owner also has to accept the possibility of loss, but the lure of profits makes people willing to take risks. Fourth, The proprietorship does not have to pay separate business income taxes because the business is not recognized as a separate legal entity. The owner still must pay individual income taxes on profits taken from the sole proprietorship, but the business itself is exempt from any tax on income. Suppose, for example, Mr. Winters owns and operates a small hardware store in a local shopping center and a small auto repair business in his garage next to his home. Because neither business depends on the other, and because the only thing they have in common is Mr. Winters' ownership, the two businesses appear as separate and distinct economic activities. For tax purposes, however, everything is lumped together at the end of the year. When Mr. Winters files his personal income taxes, the profits from both businesses are combined with any wages and salaries from other sources. He does not pay taxes on either of the businesses separately. Another advantage of the proprietorship is the psychological satisfaction many people get from being their own boss. These people often have a strong desire to see their name in print, have dreams of great wealth or community status, or simply want to make their mark in history. A sixth advantage is that it is easy to get out of business. All the proprietor has to do is pay any outstanding bills and then stop offering goods or services for sale. Disadvantages. The main disadvantage of a proprietorship is that the owner of the business has unlimited liability. This means that the owner is personally and fully responsible for all losses and debts of the business. If the business fails, the owner's personal possessions may be taken away to satisfy business debts. As an example, let us revisit the earlier case of Mr. Winters, who owns and operates two businesses. If the hardware business should fail, his personal wealth, which includes the automobile repair shop, may be legally taken away to pay off debts arising from the hardware store. A second disadvantage of the proprietorship is the difficulty of raising financial capital. Generally, a large amount of money is needed to set up a business, and even more may be required for its expansion. However, banks and other lenders are often reluctant to lend money to a new or very small businesses. As a result, the proprietor often has to raise financial capital by tapping savings, using credit cards, or borrowing from friends and family. The size and efficiency of the proprietorship also are disadvantages. A retail store, for example, may need to hire several employees just to stay open during normal business hours. It may also have to carry a minimum inventory, a stock of finished goods and parts in reserve, to satisfy customers or to keep production flowing smoothly. Because of limited financial capital, the proprietor or stock enough inventory to operate the business efficiently. A fourth disadvantage is that the proprietorship often has limited managerial experience. The owner-manager of a small company may be an inventor who is highly qualified as an engineer, but lacks the business sense or the time needed to oversee the growth of the company. This owner may have to hire others to do the types of work, manufacturing, sales, and accounting, at which he or she is not an expert. A fifth disadvantage is the difficulty of attracting qualified employees. Because proprietorships tend to be small, employees often have to be skilled in several areas. In addition, many top high school and college graduates are more likely to be attracted to positions with larger, well-established firms than small ones. This is especially true when larger firms offer fringe benefits, employee benefits such as paid vacations, sick leave, retirement, and health or medical insurance, in addition to wages and salaries. A sixth disadvantage of the sole proprietorship is limited life. This means that the firm legally ceases to exist when the owner dies, quits, or sells the business.